Welcome back to Wildlife Hotel. I'm Eric.
And I'm Geoffrey.
And we're at the 49th annual Nihon Machi Street Fair
in San Francisco's beautiful Japantown. Vendor booths, merch, snacks, more snacks, live performances.
And also, we miss Japan.
We do miss Japan. But let's see if we can't find a little bit of it here in San Francisco.
We've been back from Japan for almost 4 months and we miss it. We miss it a lot.
I've lost so much weight.
Luckily, we live between 2 of the 3 remaining Japantowns in the United States, San Jose being the other local Japantown and Los Angeles being the 3rd.
On the weekend of August 5th and 6th, Japantown San Francisco held the 49th annual Nihon Machi Street Fair. So we packed up the Prius and headed off for another adventure to Japan. Well, Japantown. In San Francisco.
If you come by car and want to park at the on-site parking in Japan Center garage, make sure to come right as the fair is starting at 10 a.m. We found it to still be fairly empty, but within an hour, the garage and the streets had filled with people looking to celebrate AAPI culture and heritage and just have a fun day.
This event draws around 30,000 people every year, so you may want to consider your public transit options. The fair runs from 10 to 6 both days, and they shut down a stretch of Webster Street that runs alongside Japantown. They fill it with booths from local AAPI artisans, community groups, and vendors.
And on Sunday, they even host a car show, though we went on Saturday and didn't get to see any of the many classic and vintage cars that are proudly on display every year from local car enthusiasts. There were booths for dogs, jewelry, clothing new and vintage, Japanese crafts, a beer garden, and even games for kids. Starting at noon on both days, they hold performances on both the street stage and in the pavilion between the 2 sides of Japantown Mall. We didn't see any food stands outside, which are all over places like this in Japan, but there are so many good food options in Japantown itself that you hardly feel the need for it. Maybe they didn't want to take any business away from those.
Whatever type of Japanese food you're craving, they probably have it here. We stopped by a small booth and bought some dango and an unagi unagiri.
Yup, that's dango.
Before heading to a bakery for a couple of amazing pastries from Gina Bakes, a Korean-owned and Korean and Japanese-influenced bakery that has some pastries you just aren't gonna find anywhere else.
The honeycomb latte was pretty amazing too. Whether you want sushi, ramen, or barbecue, you aren't going to leave Japantown with an empty stomach. And there is even a Japanese grocery store called Nijiya on site if you would rather try your hand at cooking Japanese cuisine at home. While at the fair or any time of the year, make sure to visit the Japanese dollar store Daiso, the Kinokuniya Japanese bookstore for a manga fix, or some of the smaller shops to grab souvenirs, models, clothing, and pop culture goods from the land of the rising sun.
Despite the crowds, honestly, we welcome the crowds. We felt that our experience in Japantown was greatly boosted by the Nihon Machi Street Fair, making mid-August a perfect time to come and visit. And even though August is over, Japantown is a great place to visit year-round. They hold the Cherry Blossom Festival in the spring, the Aki Matsuri in autumn to honor the upcoming harvest, and on Halloween, the Japantown Cultural and Community Center of Northern California welcomes trick-or-treaters with a carnival. And even when there isn't a festival or fair going on, Japantown is still a great place for an adventure.
There's some kind of filling in there. It's like a jelly or maybe a paste. It's very mild. Careful with that powder. I think I got it everywhere.
That's mochi.
Oh, it's just mochi? What's the powder?
Hojicha powder, maybe?
Yeah, that could be tea, which is why I was thinking coffee. That makes sense. Alright, you should have some of that. And you're right, that's definitely mochi.
Last thing.
That's my face. Could have told me there was stuff all over my face.
Oh.
This looks oh god, it came apart.
What did you do?
I didn't know it was a sandwich.
I didn't either. That's news to me.
It's unwieldy.
You got this. I believe in you.
We should have got a napkin.
We should got somewhere to sit.
It's got bananas on it. It's got some cream. And it's a croissant. You know what I mean? Croissant?
I don't like it.
Somebody out there does.
Wow.
We've got to have a napkin in here. No. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had an incredible time at the Nihon Machi Street Festival.
We had a great time, we had some great snacks, and it did scratch the itch to be back in Japan just a little bit.
If you liked this video, you can always let us know by scrolling down and clicking that like button. And while you're there, the subscribe button's right there. You can always click
Right there,
2
it's,
things.
it's not that hard.
2 things, 1 thing, it's not much of a difference.
But whatever you do, have an adventure.